Here is a very hard struggle. This game went right down to the wire. I do not like to say exactly what happens here, but I do want to show you this game. This was very hard. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to move through the opening moves a bit quickly because obviously knight e4 isn't too good for black, as queen h5 check is quite good for white, in my opinion. Okay, so we're already down to an opposite coloured bishop siege, knight and rook to boot. So let's have a look at this position. Don't expect to see any major tactics because there are none. Now, how's black going to place their knight onto f5, which is where I would like to put it if I was black? So how's black going to do that? Well, if I take on g6, I will definitely help by allowing black to play knight g6, knight f5, e7 to f5. Maybe. But anyway, g6, h6. This ties up the king side somewhat for a few hundred years. I think that here black should probably play b5 and a5, as that's where black is focused. And I've just realised that black's sort of got my sort of setup as black, as white, or as black. I've just realised that. I didn't even realise how. And I can play moves like rook f8, rook takes knight, and knight f6 check. And but king f8 won't be any good after rook f8 check, as then I have knight into f6. I'm just looking at the position, sort of skeleton type. And so how can we get that? We can get that maneuver. We can go bishop c6 or c8 or e8, knight d7, knight b6, knight c8, knight e7, knight f5. So we can get the knight there. It's a little bit of a journey though, isn't it? Meanwhile, I'll be playing some moves too. So I'm going to try to open up my bishop on the a3 to f8 diagonal. That's one thing I've got in mind. This was, I think my opponent took a wee bit of time there. I think my opponent was a wee bit worried about this possible infiltration. So I got b4. So I'm sort of promoting the idea of opening up by playing cb3, but I'm also going to, if b5, I might play rook a1, but then maybe knight b6, rook a1, and then maybe knight a6. So I don't know, but b4, all that aside, cb3, ab3. Now I have a half open a file for my rook, okay, and black hasn't. b5, rook a1. So I was already on the fully opened f file. Now I'm on the half opened a file. So rook b7 came about, rook a6. I just play a move into black's camp, as Nimzowitsch says, to what is it to do? To just cause a response. So this causes a response for black. just by placing my rook into the position. Anyway, king f8. Is that the response? No. King g3. Starting to look a little bit professional almost. Now black's got the choice of whether they just leave their rook there, which is probably okay, or whether they... so if they move their knight, of course, to d6, it's no good. Knight b6, as knight f6 is pretty bad for the h7 pawn. King d8, knight f6, knight f6, ef6. See, the king just sort of like has free reign here. Here's the opportunity for me to release my bishop to a3 as I promised before. Rook b6, and then we have, sadly, this is the end of the game, really. I'm going to show you the rest of the moves. So, of course, if king f8, bad move, as rook b7 is check with the bishop. And apart from b4, bishop b4, rook b4, rook b4, it's pretty bad for black. So king d8, and as I said, this is the end of the game. But I just made sure I don't know what I did that for, but anyway, there you go. That's that. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye for now.